The buzz around the VMAC is starting to feel electric as the front office looks to add one final piece to this championship puzzle. Our beloved Seahawks have quietly made significant upgrades through the draft, but the work isn't finished until the roster feels truly unstoppable. A specific physical veteran is now appearing on the radar, and his arrival could signal a massive shift in how we attack our division rivals this coming season. Please help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers and leave a like on this video. Dawan Jennings is the name currently echoing through the halls of our facility as the potential missing link for this offense. This physical pass catcher spent his time punishing defenders with the San Francisco 49ers, and seeing him in a Seahawks uniform would be a massive statement to the rest of the league. He has been holding out for a top-tier contract, essentially betting on his own talent, but after a recent visit with the Minnesota Vikings failed to produce a deal, the door is wide open for Seattle. We also have to talk about how this move impacts our current room, especially since we are already leaning heavily on the veteran leadership of Cooper Kupp. While Cooper Kupp might not be the same explosive athlete he was during his record-breaking days in Los Angeles, his value to this team is immeasurable. He provides that steady hand in the huddle and serves as a mentor for every young player like Torrey Horton, who showed flashes before a shin injury, and Emmanuel Henderson Jr., our 6th-round pick with dangerous speed. The news doesn't stop there, because reports from Bleacher Report suggest we might be vying for Keyshawn Bout from the New England Patriots. There is speculation that the Patriots might be willing to part with him for a Day 3 draft pick in 2027 if they manage to land a star receiver. Keyshawn Bout has caught 76 receptions over the last 2 seasons, but he lacks explosiveness compared to our younger options. These options present a fascinating dilemma for the front office because the roster is already feeling crowded. We have to consider that our offensive coordinator, Brian Fleury, wants to establish a very physical identity, even with the news that Zach Charbonnet will miss significant time with an ACL injury. The team is preparing to use a committee approach with rookie Jadarian Price, Emmanuel Wilson, and George Holani in a speed-power scheme. Bringing in more receivers sounds great, but it could disrupt the balance if we aren't passing the ball constantly. The coaching staff must decide if these veterans truly offer more than our internal prospects as we prepare for the battle. This physical wide receiver is known as a third-down machine because of his incredible ability to shield defenders with his body and make the tough catches in traffic. If the Seahawks decide to pull the trigger on this move, they aren't just getting a set of hands, they are adding a relentless blocker who takes pride in the dirty work. This specific mentality fits perfectly with the tough, blue-collar identity that Seattle has been trying to reclaim over the past few seasons. Imagine a scenario where a defense is focused entirely on stopping our run game, only to have a 6'3" playmaker snatch a first down right over the middle on a crucial 3rd and 8. That kind of reliability is what wins playoff games in January. The dynamic in the locker room would also change instantly. Adding a guy who has played in high-stakes Super Bowl games brings a level of postseason experience that you simply cannot teach to rookies. He would walk into the building and immediately command respect because of the way he approaches the game. We have seen other teams fail because they lack that veteran toughness in the receiving core, but Seattle seems determined to avoid that pitfall. The what if here is truly fascinating because we have to wonder how this affects the spacing on the field. If this addition allows our other weapons to face fewer double teams, it could be a game changer. If the defense has to worry about a physical presence underneath, it opens up the deep shots for our faster targets. It creates a domino effect that makes the entire offensive unit much harder to game plan against. However, we have to look at the other side of the coin. Bringing in an established veteran who wants a significant role could potentially take snaps away from our rising stars who showed promise last year. Every rep in training camp is precious, and the coaching staff has to decide if the immediate impact of a proven veteran outweighs the long-term growth of our homegrown talent. The Seahawks are at a crossroads where they must decide between the win-now mentality and the patient building process that defines our franchise. It is a high-stakes chess match. The reality of the NFL is that you can never have too many weapons, but you can definitely have too many mouths to feed. If the front office decides to bring in another high-profile receiver, the consequences for our season will be immediate and visible. This move could be the difference between winning a close game against a division rival or watching a lead slip away, because we didn't have a reliable target in the clutch. When games get tight in the fourth quarter, you want players who have been through the fire. Having a veteran presence means fewer mistakes, better route running, and a higher level of trust from the quarterback. On the other hand, we have to consider the risk of failure. If the chemistry isn't right, or if the new addition feels like he isn't getting enough targets, it can create tension in a locker room that is currently very unified. We want players who are hungry and willing to play their roles, but veterans who are betting on themselves often expect a certain amount of the spotlight. If we spend our limited resources on a receiver and then realize our defensive line needs more help later in the year, we might regret not being more patient. The season's success often hinges on these small roster decisions that happen in the shadows of the offseason. For the fans, this matters because it shows the team level of aggression. We all want to see the Seahawks back at the top of the mountain, and moves like this prove the front office isn't afraid to take a swing. However, we must also be realistic about the salary cap and the future. Giving up draft picks or signing players to expensive deals has a long-term impact on our ability to keep our own stars. This is about finding the perfect balance between chasing a trophy today and ensuring we are competitive for the next 5 years. Every decision carries a weight that the fans feel in their hearts every Sunday. If this works, it looks like a masterstroke of genius. If it fails, it could be seen as a desperate attempt to fix things. The best-case scenario is a beautiful thing to imagine for our Seahawks. Picture our new receiver hauling in a game-winning touchdown, while the crowd at Lumen Field goes absolutely wild. In this version of reality, he becomes the ultimate safety valve for the offense. He catches every ball thrown his way. He blocks like a tight end on the edge. He makes the players around him better by demanding excellence. This version of the season leads us deep into the playoffs. It makes our offense look unstoppable. We become the team that nobody wants to face in the cold weather. It is a dream scenario for every fan who bleeds blue and green. But then, there is the dark side of this move. Imagine the worst-case scenario where the new signing struggles to learn the system. He might suffer a nagging injury that keeps him off the field for weeks. The young players who were supposed to be our future start to feel frustrated. Their growth stunts because they are sitting on the bench watching a veteran struggle. The locker room chemistry begins to sour as the losses pile up. The money spent on the receiver feels like a giant weight around the team neck. We realize too late that we should have invested in the offensive line or the secondary instead. The tension is real because the margin for error in this league is razor thin. One bad signing can derail an entire season of momentum. We have seen it happen to other teams, and we certainly don't want it to happen to us. The coaches are currently weighing these two paths behind closed doors. They are looking at the film and analyzing every possible outcome. They know that their jobs and the hopes of the city are on the line. Every practice rep and every meeting is focused on making sure we don't end up in that nightmare scenario. The pressure is mounting as training camp approaches. The fans are waiting for a sign that this team is truly ready to compete with the elite. We want to believe that the front office has a plan for everything. This entire situation boils down to a single difficult question about the identity of our team. Do we trust the young talent we just drafted to step up and become stars, or do we need the security blanket of a veteran like Jawan Jennings to ensure we don't fall short? It is a gamble either way, but that is what makes being a fan of the Seattle Seahawks so exciting. The front office is clearly looking for every possible edge, and whether it is Jennings or Bout, the message is clear. Mediocrity is not an option. We are building something special here, but the finishing touches are often the hardest to get right. I want to hear from you on this one because your passion is what drives this team forward. Be honest with me, would you rather see the team save the money and develop our rookies, or should we go all in on a proven veteran to help us win now? Please help us hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means everything to this channel. Like the video and let us know your thoughts.